All right, week 13, we have two experiments, number 127 and 121 in your Van Cleves guide. I will have the cards laminated just like the first 6 weeks, so you have these available if you need a quick glance at it during the experiment. I would recommend doing the sinkers experiment first because it does need to sit for about 5 minutes undisturbed. So we're going to demonstrate how placer or deposits form. So you're gonna need a jar with a lid, and I ended up using this. It's much bigger than a quart, but it gives the kids a lot of area to be able to see. So I felt like this worked really well. So a jar with a lid filled with tap water, a cup of soil, and then some paper clips. Oh, you can't see them. They're right there. We're gonna fill the jar half full with water, add the soil and the paper clips, kid involvement if you want. We've got our soil, we've got our paper clips in there. Close the lid of the jar and shake vigorously. The nice thing about this jar is you can shake it vigorously without worrying about making a mess. So keep your hand on top of it, but shake that jar out of the jar to stand undisturbed for 5 minutes. So this is well shaken, and I'm going to set. So I'm setting this aside for 5 minutes to rest. And while I'm letting that rest, we're going to do our experiment tilt. So that's 121 in your Van Cleves guide. We're demonstrating the effects of the Earth's tilt on seasons. So you're gonna have your 2 pencils. I made an Earth for you. Yes, I am a nerd. And a ball of modeling clay the size of an apple, and a flashlight. Here's our modeling clay and our flashlight. So we're gonna insert the pencil through the ball of clay. This is Play-Doh. It's a little easier to push through, but maybe kind of push it on there a little bit. We're gonna mark the equator with your second pencil. In my case right now, it's a fingernail because I don't have another pencil with me. So we've got our equator there. And then we're going to use the second pencil. It's halfway between the top and the bottom of the ball. We're gonna position the ball on the table so you can see the eraser. And it's leaning slightly to the right. In a darkened room, we're gonna place the flashlight about 6 inches to the left side of the ball. Wow, our Earth kind of got a little bit wonky. There you go. Observe how the light strikes the ball. Place the light about 6 inches from the right side of the clay ball. Observe where the light strikes the ball. The area below the equator receives the most light when the pencil eraser points away from the light, and the area above the equator is brighter when the pencil points toward the light. So the pencil represents an imaginary axis running through the Earth. The northern hemisphere, the area above the equator, is warmed by the most when the Earth's axis points toward the sun. This is because the more direct light rays hit the area. The southern hemisphere, the light below the equator, receives the most warming direct light when the Earth's axis points away from the sun. The direction of the Earth's axis changes very slightly during the Earth's movement around the sun, causing the southern and northern hemispheres to receive different amounts of light rays. This result is in a change of seasons. So definitely give the kids a chance to see how that works. The clay was too hard. The Play-Doh almost seems a little bit too soft. So really push it on there. Giving them the idea if it's pointing toward the sun, the eraser's pointing toward the sun, it's the lower hemisphere that's getting the sunlight, and then if it's away from the sun, you're getting the northern hemisphere. So, fun experiment. I don't know how else I could look at some different clays. I feel like the Play-Doh worked well. Maybe it's just because it's so warm in my house. I don't know. So, Play-Doh, flashlight, And then you can also see, if we go back to sinkers, after the jar is undisturbed for 5 minutes, the paper clips quickly fall to the bottom of the jar and the slow moving soil settles to the top of the clips. And you can definitely see that. Most of the soil falls more slowly than the heavier paper clips, and thus the layer of the soil forms on top of the paper clips. In nature, rain beats on top of the soil, shaking and softening it. The heavier materials in this wet mixture sink lower and lower as years passed. Heavy grains of metal continue to sink until they reach the hard rock layer. Particles of metal that combine in this method are called placer ore deposits. So they'll be able to see underneath the paper clips, and then they'll also be able to see the lighter pieces of soil falling. So very fun experiment, week 13. Definitely let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and we'll see you for week 14.